first question says, Oscar made a model of a square pyramid for a project. The length of each side of the base is 9 inches. And the height is 10 inches. Write and solve to find the volume of Oscar's pyramid. Okay, so think about a square base. What would you multiply if one side of your base is 9? Well, for squares, what do we know about squares? We know that squares have all equal sides. So if one of your sides is 9, what's your other side? 9. That gives us 81. Then, after we consider that, we say, okay, the height is also 10. So if I'm doing length times width times height, I'd be doing 9 times 9 times 10. So I'd multiply this by 10. That would give us 810. And then it says, after you multiply all three of your numbers, don't forget that it's a pyramid. So what do you do when you see the word pyramid? You divide by 3. So we're going to do 810 divided by 3. 3 goes into 8 twice. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtracting that gives me 2. Drop down your 1. How many times does 3 go into 21? 7. Subtract that gives me 0. And then 3 goes into 0 0 times. So volume equals 270. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the likelihood of events. So we have impossible, unlikely, equally likely as unlikely, likely, or certain. And if the probability is 0, between 0 and 0.5, 0.5 and is straight up 0.5, and between 0.5 and 1, or just 1. Okay, so it says rolling a standard number cube. Let's talk about a cube. This is a dice. And dice have how many sides? Like how many numbers does it count up to? 6. So there are 6 possible outcomes. And then it says getting an even number. Well, let's think about a dice. It has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on it. So of those, how many even numbers are there? 3. So that's 2, 4, and 6. So there are 3 desired outcomes. Okay, well, if there is a chance of 3 out of 6 happening, well, that's half. Half is exactly 0.5. So is it impossible, unlikely, equally likely as unlikely, likely, or certain? This would be equally likely as unlikely. So equal chances is what I'm going to put because that's a really long word. Equal chances of it happening. There is an equal chance of it landing on 2, 4, or 6 as there is of 1, 3, or 5 because half of the outcomes are that. Okay. This says spinning a spinner divided into 5 equal sections labeled 1 through 5 and landing on a number greater than 5. So we would have, this is going to be weird. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, how many possible outcomes are there on that spinner? 5. How many of them, because what it wants is a number greater than 5, how many numbers on that spinner are greater than 5? 0. So the probability of that happening is 0 out of 5, which gives us 0% chance of it happening. So what is that? Impossible, unlikely, equally likely as unlikely, likely, or certain. If there's a 0% chance of this happening, it is impossible for it to occur. The next one says drawing a standard deck and drawing a card from a standard deck and drawing a diamond. There are 52 total outcomes, and of those, 13 of them are diamonds. So that gives us a 13 out of 52 chance. Well, if we go through, this right here is less than half because half of 52 is 26. So if it's less than half, we would say it's between 0 and 0.5. And that makes the likelihood what? Unlikely. It is unlikely because it has less than a 50% chance of occurring. The next one says drawing a card from a standard deck and drawing a red card. The total number of possible outcomes are 52, because that's how many cards are in a deck. The number of desired outcomes is 26, because that's how many red cards are in a deck. So my probability is 26 out of 52. Well, if you look, 26 is half of 52. So what's the probability of that happening? 0.5, which makes the likelihood what? Equal chances. If it's 0.5, you have equal chances. The next one says, rolling a standard number cube and getting a number greater than 0. Remember, this is just a dice. So I have 1. On my dice, I have numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Of those 6 outcomes, how many of them are greater than 0? All of them. That's 6 out of 6. Which gives us a 100% chance of that happening. So what's the likelihood? Certain. You are absolutely, when you roll a dice, going to get a number greater than 6. The next one says, spinning a number divided into 4 equal sections labeled 1 through 4 and landing on a number that is less than 4. So this is what that looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. And imagine those are all equal slices because I did a bad job. How many total number of possible outcomes do we have? 4. How many numbers are less than 4? 3 of them. You got 1, 2, and 3. So the probability of that happening is 3 out of 4, which is going to be what probability? It would be between 0 to 0.5. Sorry, that's a lie. It would be between 0.5 and 1. So what's the likelihood of that happening? This would be, oh, I forgot the word for it. Sorry. This would be likely. Because more than half of your chances is that you're going to get a number that is greater than that. All right, this one says, what is the solution for the equation? So what's the first step to solving any equation? Draw a line through your equal sign. Next step, shield negative 12x. Now, if this was an inequality, you would flip your inequality sign because you circled a negative, but it's not, so we're going to ignore that. How do you get rid of positive 37? Negative 37. That causes these over here to cancel out, and then I have negative 12x. On our right side, we have same signs or different signs? Same signs. Same signs, add or subtract? Add. So we have 23 plus 37. 3 plus 7 is 10. Write down a 0, carry my 1. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. And then what is my sign? Negative. I keep the sign of the bigger number. My 37 is bigger, so that stays a negative. All right. Then, what operation is this? Multiplication. How do you get rid of multiplication? Division. So I divide both sides by negative 12. All right, then I am left with a negative divided by a negative. What is a negative divided by a negative? A positive. And then what's 60 divided by 12? 5. All right, there's your lesson for today.